Hi guys, April is an exciting month with lots to look forward to, so let's take a look at what each rising sign can expect. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive astrology. If you're interested to book a reading with me, check out the link down below. You can also follow me on Instagram or TikTok. There's a link down there, or you can find me at Anastasia Does Astrology. If you're new here, please subscribe, leave me a like or a comment. I appreciate all of the support that I get from you guys. I did a video diving deep into the astrology of April and covering all of the main transits, so definitely check that out before you look at this video. This video, we're not gonna go into all transits. I'm gonna cover like 4 or 5 the main transits, because if I were to do every single one, it will take forever, but it still should give you an in-depth look. If you'd like a personal horoscope tailored to your natal chart, you can email or DM me on Instagram. I'm doing those until April 2nd. So April is definitely exciting. Jupiter conjoins Neptune, giving a boost to our spirituality, creativity, and altruism. We feel more inspired and we're more interested in giving back. Our imagination is highlighted. We get not 2 lunations, but 3 lunations, and one of them at the very end on April 30th is a solar eclipse in Taurus. And all planets are moving direct until April 29th. So it's a great time for manifestation. Without further ado, let's just talk about all the signs and see what you can expect. For Aries rising, in the beginning of the month, Sun is in your first house until the 19th. So you are in the spotlight. You may feel like you have more energy, and maybe you're getting a chance to present things more. There's a new moon in your sign. You're kind of finding confidence. You're building faith in yourself and maybe presenting ideas, taking on the role of a leader, teacher, mentor somehow. April 4th can be rough because Mars will conjoin Saturn in your 11th house. So there might be a sense of tension and frustration connected to your pursuits that deal with large groups of people. So maybe your colleagues are taking forever to give things back to you. Maybe you get into a fight with a friend or a mentor, a teacher, a colleague. There might be a difference in values or just things proceeding very slowly. Look at what was happening in your life on March 19th. Were there any conflicts? Was there any drama, any delays? Definitely a possibility that is coming back. There's like a revisiting that energy. Try to be patient, try to be dedicated to the things you're working on, because Saturn and Mars together can also be a powerful force when it comes to achieving things that you are committed to. Venus enters Pisces, your 12th house, on April 5th, and there's a possibility of a secret love affair. And Venus stays in Pisces from April 5th until May 2nd. So Venus is happy in Pisces, but Venus in Pisces might bring a partner who is somehow challenged or broken. They can also be highly spiritual. 12th house can show up in different ways, right? Like this could be a partner who like works with Doctors Without Borders and is very kind of like generous and giving and cares for the world, or they can have a drinking problem. So make sure you're kind of careful with who you are getting involved with, especially if they're like married, right? Or they are somehow unavailable. You want to be very thoughtful. April might be great for you to go away, to travel, to spend some time like a little bit, like yes, you're active. There might be, new projects that you're starting, but you will also find a lot of joy in retreating, spirituality, meditation, yoga, anything like that. On April 12th, the biggest transit of the entire year, there's a video coming about that. Jupiter will conjoin Neptune in your 12th house. And this brings changes to your mental health. There might be something you're letting go, some kind of past self-defeating tendency. You may feel pulled to give back to the world and to serve people somehow, and to volunteer, right? To like work with prisoners, or work with people that are dealing with mental health issues. There might be something that you are working on behind the scenes, like maybe you're secretly painting things that, or you feel a pull to start painting that nobody knows about, and now you get a chance to explore that energy a lot more. Looking for help and finding help, like mental health help, in therapy, in creativity, in religion, I think are high possibilities there. On April 19th, Sun goes into Taurus, your second house, and Sun in Taurus in the second house will focus your attention on making money. So there might be more desires to improve your finances. And at the end of the month, we get a solar eclipse in your second house. The eclipse conjoins Uranus, while Venus conjoins Jupiter, Venus the ruler of the eclipse, in the 12th house. So there is big new beginnings when it comes to money. Maybe you are getting a payment for something, and it might be sudden because this eclipse conjoins Uranus. So there might be like a sudden gain coming your way. A pay raise, starting a new job, making money from your secret hobby is a possibility. Second house also deals with your inner sense of peace and security and confidence. So there might also be a sense of like overcoming a hurdle, getting over an issue, letting go of the past, and feeling a boost of confidence as a result of that. Taurus rising, it's a really big month, especially at the end for Taurus rising, with the solar eclipse happening in your first house. Major things. But early in the month, until the 19th, Sun is still in your 12th house, so you may be kind of, shying away from the spotlight, maybe kind of retreating, reconnecting with yourself, brooding, thinking of all these ideas that you have. And then things change after the 19th, like you kind of get a chance to be visible, to be in the spotlight a lot more. So Mars will conjoin Saturn, creating a bit of professional drama on April 4th, on Monday. So things can be a little bit rough. There might be blocks that you have to deal with. Look at March 19th, when Venus conjoins Saturn in your 10th house. There might just be like a sense of wanting to go, but being told no, or being told not yet. And you can use this energy in a few different ways. You can, if you don't act proactively, if you just allow things to unravel, or you follow the negative expression of it, you can get into fights with people. You can get into a conflict with your boss. You can yell at someone at the DMV. Definitely frustrations are possible. If you try to work hard and stay dedicated to the cause or the project at hand, you will find success. Saturn is very much supportive of people who persevere. Venus enters your 11th house, Pisces, on April 5th. She'll stay there until May 2nd. So there is creative collaborations that are coming your way. There's more joy in connecting with friends. There's more benefits through friends and mentors and bosses and like people in your immediate environment. Definitely benefits from collaborating with other people and pursuing things that are connected to social media and pursuing projects that deal with helping the world. April 12th is the biggest transit of the month. Of course, you could argue that the solar eclipse is pretty big, but I think Jupiter and Neptune, something that happens once every 13 years, is pretty major, right? It is happening in your 11th house. And Jupiter and Neptune in the 11th can definitely bring social media gains. Like if you're trying to become known on social media, if you're starting to push out a project that deals with other people, that deals with groups of people, this is highly beneficial there. 11th house is also charity and volunteer work. So with Jupiter and Neptune being conjoining in that house, there might be like a strong pull to give back and to start a nonprofit organization, or, you know, donate some of your time, energy, money to other people. Bring spirituality into the masses, right? Like give some of your knowledge, some of your, maybe discount the services that you offer, give like energy and help to others. Watch out for being too much of a martyr, or like, so don't over sacrifice yourself. The sun enters your first house on April 19th, giving you a boost of energy, making you kind of take on the role of a visible persona, step into the light more, be seen as the leader a lot more. Kind of there's a sense of vitality. There's a desire to better your look, or, you know, make changes to your appearance, even more so, I think, later in like late May when Venus goes into your first house. And finally, there is a solar eclipse in Taurus, your first house. So big new beginnings coming to your identity on April 30th. So the eclipse conjoins Uranus. So there's a bit of a rebellious, unpredictable, freedom-seeking energy. So this eclipse likely will make you, there's a chance that it will make you separate from something. Venus, the ruler of the eclipse, conjoins Jupiter on the same day in the 11th house. So it's like new beginnings that you're starting, but they're connected to the collective. They're connected to social media. They're connected to friendships, right? Like maybe you're starting a business that you're going to be actively pushing on social media. Maybe you're starting a podcast. Maybe you're becoming a teacher. So there's a sense of like seeking independence. Of course, eclipses are kind of unpredictable, and they're not always, you know, April 30th is the exact day, but the energies start to kind of show up in our life a couple of weeks before and a couple of weeks after, and we're also, it's all part of a longer 1.5-year cycle. But you are finding freedom, you are finding independence, and you're embodying that role of a mature leader, mentor, teacher, someone who's like standing on their own 2 feet and pursuing their personal projects. Even, you know, graduating is a possibility here. So fun times for Taurus risings. For Gemini rising, Sun is spending most of the month until April 19th in your 11th house. So there might be a lot of friend get-togethers, a lot of networking, maybe chatting with people on social media, maybe figuring out your pursuits. And then Sun will go into hiding, will go into the 12th house after April 19th when it enters Taurus. And maybe you pull back a little bit, like you will need to take care of your health. So make sure you don't overexert yourself this month. And maybe like, you know, after the 19th, you kind of go into hiding and spend some time, maybe go on a trip or do yoga and just kind of withdraw. So on April 4th, Mars will conjoin Saturn in your 9th house, and there might be issues, delays, blockages, frustrations connected to education, travel, legal matters, publishing, religion. So there might be ideological battles you're dealing with. Look at March 19th when Venus conjoined Saturn in the same house. What kind of difficulties did you run into? Travel might get delayed. Be careful if you're traveling, like be careful to double check everything. Maybe you've applied for a visa, but you're getting told that, hey, we messed it up. Actually, my Gemini rising friend is dealing with that, where like someone put the wrong, they kind of sent 2 papers and they had different pay rate for her. So now her visa situation is up in the air. So there might be frustrations there. Mars Saturn can be tough, and it can take the negative out of us, or it can also inspire us to work hard and to persevere through difficulty. So try to be proactive, try to be dedicated to the cause at hand, and then you'll see a lot more positive results. Venus enters Pisces, your 10th house of career. Venus has struggled in March. She couldn't give us a helping hand, so maybe it felt like there wasn't a lot of fun in your life. Maybe professional pursuits were kind of up in the air. not as exciting. So now she goes into Pisces on April 5th, and she stays in Pisces until May 2nd. So Venus in Pisces in the 10th house gives you creativity, gives you desire to work on projects and pursue things that truly make you feel inspired, truly make you feel happy. Having a job just for the sake of making money just no longer feels enough. And this energy is carried over into the Jupiter and Neptune conjunction in your 10th house on April 12th. You really are having that sense of like, your career needs to be soul fulfilling. It needs to be satisfying on more than one level, right? Like, life is short. There's not an unlimited amount of time that we are on this planet. So, you know, kind of embodying a figure of a teacher becomes more important, or a teacher, but not just necessarily, but like having a job that gives back to others. Pursuing creative things, because Jupiter and Neptune are both optimistic, imaginative, creative. So starting, I don't know, a paint business or writing are possibilities here. Avoid overdoing it, avoid sacrificing yourself and putting your life and your future on the altar of the well-being of others. So the sun enters Taurus, your 12th house, on the 19th, and you feel a pull to retreat. And then we're kind of building up to the eclipse on April 30th in your 12th house. Eclipses in the 12th house can be complicated because 12th house deals with your mental health. So there is supportive energy though, because Venus, the ruler of this eclipse, is conjoining Jupiter in the house of career. So whatever changes that you're going through on a mental level are connected to the positive developments of your professional life. So not similarly, but we are in this longer cycle, right, of Jupiter, of like Taurus North Node, Scorpio South Node for the year and a half from January 2022 until the middle of 2023. And there's a pull there's a North Node pull towards your 12th house. So you're going through a sense of releasing material things. Like you maybe with Scorpio in the 6th house, you may be releasing the need to work a lot. You're like feeling unhappy with the race. That's no longer satisfying. So you're going in the sector of peace and spiritual well-being and tranquility. So there's new beginnings are possible when it comes to that. Maybe you commit to getting massages. Maybe you commit to working less hours, right? Having income and sources of income that are a little bit more passive. Maybe you start therapy. Be careful around April 30th. Just like take it easy and don't overexert yourself. Don't lift heavy weights, just because eclipses are unpredictable. But it looks good. I think it looks good. Just, yeah, the eclipse I would be careful about. For Cancer rising, we begin with the sun in the 10th house until April 19th. So you are taking care of your professional matters. Maybe you are getting to speak a lot more. Maybe you're questioning what you're trying to achieve a lot more. And then later in the month, after the sun enters Taurus, the focus goes towards your friendships and networks. And if you are figuring out where you see yourself right now, I guess after the 19th, the question becomes more, who do you see yourself with? Or who are these people that can help you get there? April 4th is a little bit rough. Mars will conjoin Saturn on April 4th in your 8th house of finances, shared resources, dependencies on other people. So topics of fairness and unfairness in relationships might show up. Take a look back at March 19th when Venus conjoined Saturn in the same house. Have you dealt with any financial difficulties, any frustrations, limitations, conflicts with your spouse or conflicts with your business partner? Resources might be a little bit limited, or there might be a sense of like not yet. The problem might get solved later in the month when Mercury will aspect Mars and Saturn, so around like 7th and 8th. You can definitely see a positive resolution. But, you know, if you do deal with an issue with your business partner, or if there is a financial problem, or even a sense of like you not being independent, you depending on other people, be patient, because Mars and Saturn is not like necessarily no. It can create drama. It can create like inner frustration and anger that just is bursting out. But it can also be quite positive if you work on it. Venus enters Pisces, your 9th house, on April 5th. She's going to stay there until May 2nd. So for most of the month, we get this beautiful Venus in the sign of exaltation, in the house of travel, foreign lands, education. So you get fascinated by foreign people, right? Dating people who are of different nationality, people who are well educated, like there might be a romance with a foreigner. Or maybe you go traveling because you want to travel. Traveling brings you a lot of joy, same as studying. But Venus deals with romance, right? So maybe you meet someone on your journeys. Or you study about like Tantra and sex, and you kind of like dive into it deeper. That energy kind of gets even more emphasized. And of course, like benefits connected to education are possible too. But as we move further into the month, on April 12th, we have the major event of the entire year, in my opinion. And it's Jupiter conjoining Neptune in your sector of education. So there will be a YouTube video going into depth on that conjunction, but it's super, super exciting. Both planets deal with faith, with expansion, with spirituality and altruism. So there might be expansion of your knowledge. Maybe you are taking a course, maybe you're signing up to be a PhD student, maybe you're traveling to study in a foreign country, putting travel and education together. Maybe you're becoming a diplomat and starting to work in an embassy somewhere. So definitely great beginnings connected to that. There might be an altruistic desire to share your knowledge, to express some of your wisdom and bring it to the world. Legal matters fare well, and publishing is also a possibility here, like writing something, feeling interested in sharing your story and kind of, you know, telling the world about your experience. The Sun enters Taurus on the 19th. Focus goes towards your relationships, friendships, your hopes and dreams. As I said in the beginning, trying to figure out who are these people that are supporting you, maybe sorting through friendships or reconnecting with friends. And then at the end of the month, the major event, another major event, is the solar eclipse in Taurus in your 11th house. While Venus conjoins Jupiter, Venus, the ruler of this eclipse, in the 9th house. New beginnings connected to your ambitions, because the 11th house is the place of like other people and your place in the collective. So there might be changes to that. Maybe you're embodying some kind of role of a leader. Maybe you're dealing with groups, taking on a position that puts you in the spotlight more. Maybe you are joining a new group, right? Like maybe you felt like your friendships were kind of non-existent, and this might inspire you to connect with people on a different level. Giving back for sure, like, you know, connecting with the world, taking on a more responsible role in the world is all possibilities here. For Leo rising, we start the month with the Sun in Aries, which is your 9th house. You may be interested in philosophy, religion, you may be traveling or expanding your mind somehow, even just questioning what is it that you believe in. Lovely time until the 19th to study something, to go to a museum, to chat with people of different background than you, people who are different, might be fun. And then later in the month, after the 19th, the focus shifts heavily to your career, to making professional moves, to talking to bosses, asking for a raise, anything like that. April 4th might be tough, Monday, April 4th, because Mars will conjoin Saturn in your 7th house of relationships. Take a look back at any relationship difficulties you faced on March 19th. There might be a resolution of that or a revisiting of that. The resolution might not come until like April 7th or 6th when Mercury aspects the conjunction of Mars and Saturn. But yeah, like relationship difficulties are possible because Mars has that desire to assert its will and to find independence. And Saturn is very much like, no, you don't. No, you're not ready yet. No, slow down. So there's frustrations. Whatever it is, however it is, shows up in your relationship. Maybe you want to go travel and your partner is like, no, we're not doing that. But you're like, I want to go. You don't have to join me. And then you clash. You kind of run into an issue in your relationship. Yeah, so difficulties in communication, make sure you stay patient because that's the best way of handling this energy, and you work on a relationship versus fight with each other. Venus enters Pisces, your 8th house, on April 5th. Super exciting because Venus struggled, and she struggled in your house of relationships for most of March. So now she goes into the house of other people's resources, other people's finances. It's a very strong Venus, so you benefit from other people. And not just Venus being in this house, but Jupiter conjoins Neptune in the same house of other people's resources on April 12th. So all of April is pretty much great when it comes to resources coming from other people. And let me know in the comments below, have you received any gifts? Are you expecting a big tax return? Maybe you already got one. Is your partner getting money that you will kind of benefit from? You know, what is happening when it comes to finances? Romantic renewal, because 8th house deals with like intimacy. Not always, depends on which school of thought you follow. But there might just be like a renewal of trust in a relationship. Because if they're willing to share their resources with you, then there is lovely connection and lovely energy there. So April 12th is major Jupiter and Neptune conjunction in the 8th house. Jupiter also rules your 5th house. So I can see it as like a creative upliftment, a creative collaboration that puts you in touch with people who can help, joining forces, getting money to create your screenplay, to shoot the film that you're interested in. Joining money with your partner, maybe you open a joint bank account. Healing is a possibility here because 8th house is all the fears we have. So there's a sense of like letting go of the insecurities to some extent and pursuing things that you're interested in. And of course, financial gains. Definitely let me know if it's money the case for you. The sun enters Taurus on the 19th. So focus goes to your professional realm quite heavily. And then we get the solar eclipse in Taurus, part of the longer cycle. The cycle takes a while to unravel. So if you don't immediately experience huge professional gains, be patient, know that it might take time. But this eclipse does bring big changes to your career. It brings recognition, brings culmination of some project, taking on a different role, starting to get paid more. Virgo risings have dealt with this energy, different signs, right? But last year they had eclipses in their 10th house and their 4th house. And I know one person who moved to New York to start a job. Someone else got the book published. So there's huge possibilities for like long-lasting changes professionally. So good luck with that. Keep me posted. For Virgo risings, the sun starts the month in the 8th house until the 19th. So you may be focused on healing, literal healing, or more spiritual healing. Maybe you're diving into therapy, you're reaching out to tarot and astrology for help. You're maybe handling financial matters, you know, if you are in like accounting field, but even if you're not, maybe you're paying taxes or you're figuring out the agreements between you and other people. your mind might naturally be a lot more focused on the topic of fairness. What's fair in the relationship, what isn't fair, what needs to be worked on, etc. April 4th, Monday might be rough because Mars conjoins Saturn in your 6th house of daily life, work, and health. So if you've been dealing with like a health issue, say your back has been hurting, my back has been hurting. I overdid it with yoga the other day. I was just like, I can do it all. And then my body was like, no, you can't. So if you're, and I'm a Virgo sun, right? Not a Virgo rising, but still applies to me. So if you've been like, avoid pushing yourself too hard when it comes to health, and maybe invest into like a massage, you know, treat yourself. And work-wise, there might be difficulties. Look at March 19th when Venus conjoins Saturn in the same house, but there might be clashes with colleagues, some drama, some tension in your professional life. Delays, right? Like you wanting to pursue a project, your boss telling you no, even as literal as like driving or trying to pay the bill and you run into like an issue where your credit card doesn't work for whatever reason and you have to deal with bureaucracy. There might be a lot of frustration with this energy, but you never want, with Mars and Saturn, you don't want to like go to the dark side and play dirty. You want to like persevere and stay patient. Things get a lot better, or there's like a wave of positivity with Venus entering Pisces, your 7th house of romance, on April 5th. And we get that major event of the whole year, Jupiter and Neptune conjunction in your 7th house, as Venus is in your 7th house. So major new beginnings romantically. You feel a sense of upliftment, inspiration, and like, you know, if you're Virgo rising, you might be normally critical and perfectionist in relationships and kind of like overly analytical of your partners. Now with Venus in your 7th house, there's more of a sense of seeking people who connect with you spiritually and not just being too concerned with you know, their bank account. So you become more focused on soulful, truthful connections. And there might be new professional beginnings as well. So maybe you're starting partnerships to teach, to write, to inspire. There might be spiritual people coming into your life, guides, astrologers, teachers, mentors, anything like that. Be careful because this just screams a lack of boundaries or choosing people who are like bad for you. And I feel like it's good to pursue a fantasy or pursue a fairy tale, because if you're too grounded normally, this might be your chance to experience it, and you really never know. But you want to make sure you're still kind of like grounded and you don't allow other people to take advantage of you. On the 19th, Sun enters Taurus, your 9th house. So projects connected to education, maybe you're taking a trip during Taurus season, maybe you're teaching, you're expanding your mind somehow, watch a fun documentary, go to a museum. And then we get a solar eclipse in Taurus, 9th house. Solar eclipse in the 9th house, while Venus conjoins Jupiter in the 7th house, could bring a partnership connected to education. Definite changes with education, like maybe you sign up for a class with your husband, or you start an education business. Like maybe you partner up with someone and you begin a podcast together that teaches astrology, right? A lot of possibilities. 9th house also deals with foreign people and foreign lands. So there's a possibility of like making a move, trying to figure out where you see yourself. Maybe you're dealing with legal matters, filing paperwork, dealing with visas, right? Like all of that kind of stuff. Your world is expanding and your place in the world is expanding. So have fun on that ride and let me know how this manifests for you. For Libra risings, the sun is in Aries until the 19th. So there's a lot of focus on partnerships and relationships, and you maybe have more energy to date and to meet new people. April 4th might be tough romantically or creatively. There might just be like a sense of frustration and things that you possibly put in a lot of energy in, or things that you desire to work out are taking longer than you would like. It's Mars Saturn conjoins in Aquarius in your 5th house. So there's a sense of, like relationship misunderstandings, relationship tension, frustration, issues with children. Somehow maybe your kids needs to go to kindergarten, but you're not sure, you're not ready to let them go. There might be like frustrations there. There might be romantic misunderstandings where your partner wants to stay in, but they agreed to go out to see your parents and you kind of clash. And creatively, as mentioned before, but like creatively, perhaps you kind of create a post and it doesn't do so well and you just like feel like Hulk smash. So be careful. It's a tense energy that can backfire, or if you use it wisely, it can also give you the perseverance and dedication and like laser focus to achieve things. So lean into that. Venus enters Pisces, your 6th house, on April 5th, and you will enjoy serving others. It stays in Pisces until the end of the month, so the entire month, and then Jupiter conjoins Neptune in your 6th house on April 12th. So the entire month, there is that love to serve other people, desire to give back. You're more generous. You're more happy to share your time and energy with other people. There might be more work too, because Jupiter and Neptune conjunction is a huge transit and it happens on April 12th. And it's both planets are in a water sign. Obviously, it's a conjunction. So there's like a flood of work. So be careful, don't overexert yourself, but lean into projects that are spiritual and helpful to others. Your health can be really good right now because you are kind of supported by Jupiter and Neptune. So any projects or any health matters should go well. So maybe, if you're scheduled for a procedure around this time, this is a good time to take care of things. There's good energy connected to pets. So if your pet has been struggling, they can do well. Exercising, dieting, investing into your future is encouraged. The sun enters Taurus, your 8th house, on April 19th. And then we get a solar eclipse in Taurus conjunct Uranus on April 30th as Venus conjoins Jupiter in the 6th house. So this could bring healing. This could definitely be, and it's part of a longer cycle. This is our first set of eclipses. I mean, we did have a lunar eclipse in Taurus on November 19th. So something may have culminated and ended at that time. Or was it Scorpio? Don't quote me on that. But I know we did have an eclipse already. Oh, November. It would have been a lunar eclipse in Taurus. So yeah, we had an eclipse, a lunar eclipse in Taurus. So this is a solar eclipse in Taurus. So healing, mental healing, facing fears, that if you dealt with any kinds of fears in November, maybe you're learning to address things differently. There might be like transformation you're going through. Financially, there might be changes, and maybe you're needing to spend money on something big because 8th house is other people's resources. So maybe you're applying for a mortgage, maybe you're investing money into something. Like there might be a sense of like giving money to something else or putting money. Maybe you're investing money into your health or investing money into the future of your children or something. Like there's a chance of like paying a debt, investing into something, getting in debt. Just be careful that you're not like, that you're not getting too in debt. Maybe you're also learning to address some of your fears and you're learning to build relationships that are more fair and balanced. Make sure you're not just carrying all the weight of the relationship though. You want there to be fairness. For Scorpio rising, the sun is in your 6th house until April 19th. So you're focusing on daily work, your problem solving. Maybe there is some kind of, work project that you're taking care of. rebuilding your home, redecorating your home, scheduling doctor's appointments, eating healthier, getting interested in what is worth eating, what is not. April 4th might be tough and can bring a conflict with the family when Mars conjoins Saturn in your 4th house of home and family. Take a look back at March 19th when Venus conjoined Saturn. Have you run into a difficulty? Has there been any blockages, delays, dramatic interactions, conflicts at the time? So it might show up in a few ways, right? Like matters surrounding the home might be delayed. Like if you're doing that home renovation project, or if you're waiting on a bank loan, or something like that, right? Or even if you're moving, maybe there is something that stands in your way and it's like, not yet, you have to do more work. And the frustration can bubble over and turn into a nasty fight. Or you can use it proactively. You can be like, okay, I cannot do this, let me do that. Let me rearrange my closet. So use the frustration healthily and direct some of this energy towards productive things. Venus enters Pisces, your 5th house, on April 5th. Look at that. Mars conjoins Saturn in the 4th on April 4th. Venus enters Pisces, the 5th on April 5th. And it's great for your romantic life. If you've dealt with any romantic misunderstandings, any difficulties, things get better. Because Venus is exalted in Pisces. Venus is in its joy in Pisces. So you get a double dose of goodness. And fertility. Fertility is at all times high in your entire life. Probably fair to say. I mean, you'll get Jupiter and Pisces in 12 years, but you're not going to get Jupiter and Neptune conjunction in Pisces, which is the biggest event of the year in my mind. And it happens on April 12th. So pregnancy is very much a possibility. So if you're not interested in getting pregnant, be careful, use protection. And creative new beginnings are possible, getting pregnant with a creative idea, healing your inner child, healing your relationship with children and your childhood is a possibility here for sure. But also very much like inspiration and desire to have fun. Just be careful. Venus is here until the end of the month. Like, be careful that you're not overindulging and not making poor choices that you later might regret. The Sun enters your 7th house, bringing attention to relationships, your marriage. So it's a very kind of relationship heavy month. And you're making changes to your relationships, you're dating, you're having babies, having passionate sex. It's a good month, I think. There's a lot of exciting things to look forward to. So the Sun enters Taurus. Taurus season is the light shines on the relationships. And the month wraps up with a solar eclipse in your 7th house. So we had a lunar eclipse in Taurus on November 19th, and there may have been something may have completed in your relationship. Maybe you ended a relationship and now you feel ready to start something new. This eclipse is part of a longer cycle that lasts a year and a half, cycle that started in January and goes until the middle of 2023. So it's kind of like, waves, right? If you don't catch this one, there might be the next one. But the goal here, or the purpose here, is to bring new people into your life, bring solid, secure, long-lasting relationships into your life. So there might be someone new coming into your life. Venus is the ruler of this eclipse in the 5th house, conjoining Jupiter at the time of the eclipse. Making major commitments like having kids together, starting a partnership with someone that deals with children. Definitely expect new beginnings when it comes to children and relationships, both business and romantic. For Sag risings, the Sun starts the month in your 5th house. So you are more focused on romance and dating, and the time until 19th is pretty good for that. Maybe you're having more fun, maybe you're having more nights out with your girlfriends, maybe you're creating and just kind of like trying to find the joy in life. And then April 4th might be rough because Mars conjoins Saturn in your third house, the house connected to schedule, communication, siblings, and neighbors. So there might be difficulties in communicating with others. There might be a sense of like wanting to say something, wanting to be honest and direct, and getting blocked or frustrated or unable to express yourself fully. Look at what happened in your life on March 19th when Venus conjoined Saturn in your third house. Like, have you dealt with any difficulties with people in your immediate environment? Could also be just like, you know, your next door neighbor or someone at a coffee shop. So conflicts might happen there. There might be delays with communication, or if you have like, if you're studying something, if you're dealing with people in your neighborhood, especially like if you're working locally, for example, maybe like you're waiting on a package, like if you're working at a coffee shop and you're waiting for the beans to get delivered and there's like delay there. Your car may break down. Be very careful driving quickly. Like, you don't want to be using that frustration and tense energy that bubbles up to like push hard and take unnecessary risks. You actually want to be careful, patient, and, you know, cautious. Venus enters Pisces, your fourth house, on April 5th, and it stays in Pisces until May 2nd. So if you've dealt, like, your focus is on romance, but romance might be complicated up until April 5th, and then until after April 5th, things can improve. So like relationships can get better. It's also in your fourth house. And then we get the biggest transit this entire year, Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, in your fourth house on April 12th. So the fourth house deals with home and family, right? So there is expansion and changes to the home. As big as buying a home and becoming a homeowner, or as small as getting plants and becoming a plant mom, right? Maybe it's not that small, but let's say it's as small as like buying a new toothbrush and putting it in your bathroom. So changes to the home, expansion of the home, renewal of familial relationships, spending more time with family members, connecting with them on a deeper level, being more generous, caring, forgiving with them. So definitely good vibes connected to the home. A friend of mine who's a Sag rising has been dealing with a home renovation project, and it's quite literal, right? Like Jupiter being in the fourth house, Jupiter is expansive. So she moved in with a guy that she's dating, and they realized that they need to expand the home to fit them both. So definitely positive energy. Even if you want to like sell your home, now is a great time. The sun enters Taurus, your sixth house, on April 19th. And the focus goes towards health, better diet, maybe kind of like setting up your daily life, solving any problems, smoothing things over, paying all the bills. It's not the most glamorous house. There might be a sense of like dealing with a lot of behind the scenes things and a lot of details. If you feel underappreciated, or if you feel like people are not recognizing this work, talk to them. We get a solar eclipse in your sixth house on April 30th as Venus conjoins Jupiter in the fourth. Solar eclipse is new beginnings, and this is major new beginnings in the house of work, health, diet, exercise. So, and serving others, right? This is, and like, it's interesting too, because I didn't mention this, but with Jupiter and Neptune in the fourth house, you might also be expanding family. And with the eclipse in the sixth, maybe you're getting pregnant, maybe you're having children. So that idea of like the eclipse in the house of service, right? Like there might be a sense of serving a family member. So getting pregnant or helping a family member, somehow committing to helping them. There might be a sense of starting a new job, connecting with your colleagues on a different level, taking care of your health. Make sure around the eclipse time that you don't overexert yourself, because it's, you know, the solar eclipse is conjunct Uranus, so there's a bit of unpredictable energy. You don't want to push yourself too hard. For Capricorn rising, the sun starts the month in Aries in your fourth house. So the sun is there until the 19th. And a lot of the focus is on your home. A lot of focus might be on family members, spending more time in the home, having more get-togethers, improving your immediate environment. And then things kind of become more fun and exciting and romantic and creative after the 19th when the sun shifts into Taurus. So be careful on April 4th when Mars conjoins Saturn. There might be conflicts surrounding money and values with people in your immediate environment. Maybe issues connected to money, like you don't have enough for something, or you have to be more careful and you would rather just spend on the things you want to spend, creating frustration. Take a look at March 19th when Venus conjoins Saturn. In your second house, have you dealt with any financial frustrations? Have you dealt with any issues when it comes to your beliefs and values? Maybe, you know, even with a partner, right? Like if you wanted to spend money on one thing, they didn't want us to spend money on other things. If you feel frustrated, watch out for getting into fights with people. Try instead to be careful and spend your money, kind of, you know, like make a plan. Don't point fingers at other people. Because Saturn will encourage you to persevere and to, you know, be dedicated to the cause. So if you feel like right now there's not enough money, there might be more money, especially on around like 6th and 7th when Mercury in the house of home and family aspects Mars and Saturn in your second house. So there might even be support coming from a family member. Venus enters Pisces, your third house, on April 5th. And Venus has struggled for a bit when she was in Aquarius. So maybe romantically and financially, once again, there were difficulties. And then Venus goes into Pisces and things should pick up. Venus is in Pisces until May 2nd. She's exalted in Pisces. So your relationship with your siblings and your neighbors get better. You enjoy hanging out with people in your neighborhood a lot more, even going outside, exploring, checking out new coffee shops is something that can bring you a lot of joy. Your writing, your speech becomes more eloquent, and the big transit that happens on April 12th, Jupiter and Neptune conjunction in your third house, is lovely for taking a skill and turning it into a source of income, right? If you've always loved making candles, you can turn that into a source of income at this time. You can use your mind, like your mind becomes inspired and excited and imaginative, and there's like high possibilities, especially with the solar eclipse at the end of the month in your fifth house, of selling a creative project, of having new beginnings when it comes to your ideas, right? Like selling, expressing ideas, starting new projects that involve your neighbors and siblings, or projects that deal with communication and technologies like teaching, having a blog, writing, anything like that is lovely at this time. The sun enters Taurus, your fifth house, on April 19th. So the focus later in the month shifts to romance, creativity, children. And the solar eclipse on April 30th conjoins Uranus in your fifth house at the same time as Venus, the ruler of the eclipse, conjoins Jupiter in the third house. So this eclipse is part of a longer cycle, the cycle that started in January and goes on until the end or the middle of 2023. And for you, a lot of the themes here is the attention slowly shifts from caring about other people's opinions and pursuing things that truly make you happy, capitalized Y-O-U, happy. And so there is new beginnings when it comes to fun and joy in life. There's pregnancy is a possibility here, creative initiatives like becoming a painter, opening your gallery, romantic new beginnings are possible as well. So there is a choice you're making, right? You're choosing personal joy and personal happiness over what other people might think. For Aqua risings, we start the month with the sun in Aries, your third house. So you might be busy. There might be a lot of things happening in your schedule, your ideas. There's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of people to see. You're getting a lot of texts, meeting people in the neighborhood, even taking short trips likely, learning something, things kind of quiet down a little bit or go towards building a secure home base after the 19th, when the sun enters Taurus and your focus goes towards home and family. Be careful around April 4th, when Mars conjoins Saturn in your first house. A good way to find some clues might be to look at March 19th, when Venus conjoins Saturn in your first house. Has there been any difficulties, any frustrations, right? Like, first house means you embody this energy, and there is inner tension between wanting to go, wanting to act, wanting to pursue professional things, and needing to take a step back. Maybe you run into a boss who makes you work an extra hour, or your social media campaign is not doing too well. There might be frustrations to personal projects. Or even, even like your desire to upgrade your appearance. Maybe you're waiting for a dress and it gets delayed. Mars Saturn can bring frustration, explosion, anger, or it could also be a call to work really hard, to persevere and to stay dedicated to the topic at hand. Things might get better, especially around April 6th or 7th, because that's when Mercury in Aries in your third house will lend a helping hand to both Mars and Saturn. So there is like answers and solutions coming later in the month. Venus enters Pisces, your second house, on April 5th. Venus is connected to love, romance, money. Being that it struggled most of March, it was stuck between Mars and Saturn. Maybe your love life felt non-existent, or your finances were kind of tight. Now Venus goes into the second house. Venus is exalted in Pisces. She stays in Pisces until May 2nd. So we get like the entire month pretty much after April 5th of this powerful Venus. And you can expect gifts from other people, financial gains, spiritual gains. On April 12th, we get a Jupiter and Neptune conjunction in the same house of finances and values. So there's big new beginnings. There is a sense of pursuing career, perhaps, that makes your soul happy. Maybe you were an accountant and now you become a full-time yoga instructor. There's new professional beginnings, right? There is a sense of spending money on things and people that really need your help. So you may feel a pull, and this, it's April 12th, but we feel this energy already. So you may feel pulled to give back, to donate to charity, or to discount some of your services. There's a sense of like wanting to make positive changes. A boost to your confidence is likely. A desire to spend money on something spiritual, I can see as a possibility too. And of course, as mentioned, like financial gains, just quite literal, like getting a pay raise, finding out that you make more money than you thought, getting a tax refund. There's great, exciting possibilities here. The sun enters Taurus, your fourth house, on April 19th. So you may kind of spend more time with family after having a busy schedule, busy Aries season. There's more of a pull to go within and spend some time with people you love, and maybe, your true personality starts to shine more in a familial environment. On April 30th, another really big transit this month, we get solar eclipse in Taurus. And this is big new beginnings when it comes to home and family. And it can show up in a few ways, right? It's happening at the same time as Venus conjoins Jupiter, Venus, the ruler of this eclipse, in the second house of money. So there's a possibility of spending money on the home or a family member. And let me know how this resonates in the comments below. I'd love to know. But basically, yeah, like the fourth house, new beginnings, like buying a home, renovating a home, moving somewhere, right? Like a family member moving with you, moving away from home. So there's a lot of possibilities connecting with family members on a deeper level, but it somehow connects with either your sense of feeling more valued as a result, or you seeking to feel more valued, or finances, whether you're either spending money on the family or you're getting money from family. Maybe you're selling a home and you're getting money from that. A lot of focus like in the next year and a half with this eclipse series in your 4th and your 10th house will slowly shift from working really hard to having more peace and comfort in your home. Last but not least, Pisces rising. Let me know how you're doing, Pisces risings. I'd love to hear what's happening in your life because I find April to be the most exciting for you guys. In the beginning of the month, the sun is in Aries, your 2nd house, house of money. So until April 19th, you're focusing on making money. You're looking for a job, you're brainstorming new solutions to make money. Maybe you're finding a second source of income. Maybe you're spending money, right? But you're finding way to be more proactive because it's Aries season, it's Mars ruled. So there's kind of like action-oriented mindset. April 4th might be tough because Mars conjoins Saturn, and we had a similar transit on March 19th when Venus conjoined Saturn. Have you dealt with any conflicts, any issues, any past challenges? Kind of like, have you felt triggered by something from the past, right? 12th house is your blind spot. It's things that you don't see. It's things from the past that you maybe feel you freed yourself from, but then they're just like slapping you in the face, like Will Smith did with Chris Rock. What is his rising sign? I need to look it up. But yeah, but there's if you dealt with any frustrations, any inner insecurities, any past traumas coming back on March 19th, there might be a similar sense on April 4th when Mars conjoins Saturn in your 12th house. Grappling with the idea of freedom and dependency on other people, moving forward, yet having to deal with something from the past. There might be a lot of tension there. Watch out for negative outbursts or getting into fights with people that are in your vicinity. They're innocent ones, likely. Look within, try to, talk to a trusted friend, talk to a therapist. Saturn really rewards and compliments people who take time to do the work. Venus enters your 1st house. Ta-da! Cue triumphant music. Your 1st house, she enters Pisces on April 5th, and she stays in Pisces until May 2nd. So 1st house is your identity. It's your body. It's every planet in the 1st house natally gets embodied, and similarly with the transiting planet. So Venus being in your 1st house, and Venus has been in the 12th, so love life may have felt dull, frustrating, not excited. So now Venus goes into your 1st house and you become more charming, more attractive, more magnetic. Lovely time for asking people for favors, presenting yourself in a beautiful light. If you needed to make a video, if you needed to go after some kind of creative thing, this is great. Beauty procedures, now is the time. And let me know if you're getting any beauty procedures. A great time to date too, because you're literally walking around with higher powers of charm, attraction, and persuasion as well. The biggest transit of the month is the Jupiter and Neptune conjunction, which occurs on April 12th. And and you've been feeling it for a while, right? It goes exact on April 12th, but it's present the entire month, and we've been building towards it in March as well. So this is a renewal, spiritual renewal, professional renewal. Sagittarius is your house of career, 10th house. So maybe you're changing directions, and it's likely that you're choosing a career that is fulfilling on a soul level. So you are reinventing yourself, and perhaps you're becoming a teacher. Perhaps you're looking to become a guide. You're looking to help people somehow. The sun also sextiles Saturn that same day, asking you to choose pursuits that are benefiting others and take responsibility for your role in the collective. The sun enters Taurus, your 3rd house, on April 19th, shining light on your daily life, on your schedule, your relationship with siblings. Your life may speed up. There might be more get-togethers, more text messages to answer, more ideas, more opportunities to study things. And then this kind of culminates, the month culminates with the solar eclipse in Taurus. In your 3rd house, while Venus, the ruler of the eclipse, conjoins Jupiter in the first house. So once again, it's some kind of change to your identity that deals with your immediate environment, with your siblings, with your schedule, with writing and teaching opportunities. So maybe you're becoming a teacher, maybe you're finding a job that allows you to be in your neighborhood a lot more versus a job that requires you to fly around the world. Definitely like exciting new beginnings when it comes to technology, blogging, writing. You know, maybe you're taking a class, connecting with siblings. Also, your relationship with your immediate environment might change and your technology might need to change. Kind of like your, I don't know, your world is slowly adjusting to fit that new persona that you're building. And it's quite exciting, right? Like, I think slowly but surely, with Taurus being quite material and resource oriented, you might bring more resources and more joy in your immediate life. So, the longest video I've ever done. I hope you've enjoyed it. Probably only Pisces rising are here with me at the end. Say hello in the comments and enjoy April. I hope you liked this video. Talk soon. Bye.